Hey, discerning listeners, 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. If you comment below, I love that. But if you can hide the spoilers somehow for me, because if I'm in the comment section, I don't want the rest of this season to be spoiled for me, because I'm guessing a lot of you might have watched it before. Also, some people watch these videos having never seen the show at all, so you don't want to spoil it for them. So just, be mindful of that. Also, if you are going to reference something like, that thing that you said, if you could do that little timestamp hyperlink thing, then I can immediately click on it, and because I forget sometimes the random things that I say. But anyway, let's watch.
Yeah, because I didn't sleep at home 3 nights. That's the reason why we're receiving couples therapy, right?
No. Where exactly were you the night that all these nights that you've been sleeping
all
out?
All these nights, 3 nights. You have been ignoring me and showing me with actions that you don't give a about me.
No,
you don't even buy me.
Don't try to twist this.
Okay, so we're watching the room cam, which I assume they know is there, and they are fighting. This is after their first therapy session. I guess you could call it that, an intro session. They had all been drinking prior, or at least they were all at a bar, some of them, but none of them seemed intoxicated at the therapy session. Maybe Florian a little bit, although it's kind of hard to tell with him because he doesn't really talk very much. But they are talking about something they introduced earlier, which is that Gino said that she would disappear for some nights. We're hearing 3 nights or maybe more, but not like weeks or something. So it sounds like 3 different nights. And he doesn't know where she went. And I was wondering if he suspected, she's probably at her friends or something. But it kind of sounds like he doesn't know. He doesn't know at all. And she is saying, well, the reason why I left it was totally justified because you were, what was her word?
You have been ignoring me and showing me with actions that you don't give a about me.
You've been ignoring me and showing me with your actions that you don't give a shit about me. So I am wondering what that means, given the previous experience that I've had with this couple, which is just through a reality TV lens, right? But I suspect what that means is that he is, not paying her attention and maybe not, I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. It could be like her trying to snuggle and he's like, because I figure if it was more overt, she would say it, because I tried to kiss you and you pushed me away or something. The way that she's describing it is the way that they've basically been describing it, which is that he is just kind of inert towards her. He's not yelling at her according to, we're not hearing that. He's not receiving texts from an ex-girlfriend, or he's not sending texts of Jasmine naked to an ex-girlfriend because he did that. I'm pretty sure we would hear about that. I'm wondering if Jasmine is reacting because she doesn't know what else to do, and she is leaving as partially as a way to just clear her head, which is fine, but is purposely not telling him, and maybe even leaving sooner than later because she wants him to be jealous. She's trying to provoke him or something. She's trying to make him feel the way that she feels I'm wondering. I don't know. But maybe she has told him where she went.
No,
you don't even buy
don't
me.
Don't try to twist this
because this is the
about
thing.
You right now.
This
I'm
is the thing.
You.
No, what about you being
No, this is about where you were and why were you hiding it from me?
I'm not hiding.
Well, then tell me where you were.
You're losing me.
Okay, so she says, you're losing me. Okay, and then he's saying, tell me where you were. So that sounds very much that she has never told him where she went. I mean, if it was just to a friend's house, then just say that. I mean, I think she might have said, maybe he's asking for specific friends. I think she did say she went to a friend. So, if she has a viable reason, I don't want to tell you where I went specifically because my friend asked that she not get involved in this. and she doesn't want the headache with reality TV. She doesn't want the headache with you. So you're just gonna have to trust me that I was at a friend's house. I think that's asking a lot, particularly because if Gino did this, I mean, she would explode. I'm remembering now that Gino in his house had like a light fixture that looked like maybe it was picked out by his previous girlfriend or something. And that might have come up, I remember, and she completely flipped out, abused him, yelled at him, went in, to extreme displays of betrayal and crying, and I can't believe you're doing this to me. That was they've both been in previous relationships, and it's just a light fixture, right? And if he had known, right? And I don't even think it was in his mind that associated with her. I'm trying to remember. So it's not a betrayal that in the past he had a house that, may or may not have been influenced by the person he was involved with in the past, Anyway, so, I mean, she has a child. That's another thing that we have to talk about or think about is, from my memory now that it's popping back into my head for the first time in years, is that there were questions as to how much contact she was even having with her own child, right? Because she went on the app. It's not like they randomly met and she's like, oh no, I have a kid in Panama, but I fell in love with a guy in the United States. What do I do? She purposely went online to meet a sugar daddy that, well, I mean, maybe there's Panamanian sugar daddy. Anyway. So I'm rambling. But, yeah. So as a couples therapist, what I see is the couple has gone down a road and so much has to happen. They're laser focused on this issue. He's laser focused on, I need to know where you went. That's, even if she said, it wouldn't solve anything really, right? It would maybe help a little bit so that he doesn't feel purposely withheld the information. I mean, again, if she has a viable reason, she hasn't said it. She's just avoiding or saying, I don't have to tell you or something like that. And I'm also remembering when he went to the store and she demanded, or at least, it could have been shenanigans, but it fit with her style, that she demanded that when he went to the store to pick up food, that he be on a video call, and that she demanded that she get to look at the cashier that he was buying the food from, and the fact that there was like a little bit of small talk, she punished him. I mean, that is extremely abusive behavior. And that can't be ignored. And that's particular. That's odd. That should be understood as very outlying. But understood, it happens, and it's a massive problem, massive tendency, like an entitlement, an abusive tendency, a controlling abusive tendency. And we also saw her physically abuse him now it's all flooding back, tearing his hat off. Now, again, she had reasons to be upset at him for, I can't remember if this was the fight. Actually, every time I have the exact same pink electric toothbrush, and every so often when I look at it, I think of that scene because she was really upset because I think it was like a birthday present or something. And he might even literally be an engineer or some kind of software guy or something. So he's very practical, and there's jokes about like, you're married to an engineer when you get this for Christmas, and it's it's like some device that is helpful to you. So doesn't make it okay, but anyway. So I'm remembering that she might have been upset about him sending private naked pictures of her to his ex-girlfriend, which is just incredibly not okay. But that doesn't justify her being physically violent with him, which is, I'm trying to remember the specific details. At least it was edging up towards that. Anyway, actually, now that I think about all this, what we might be witnessing is just further down the road. Abuse victims especially this style at which I've treated before, is that it's not like an extreme version of it, but it's a version of it. It's one of the profiles. And it sometimes will be this heterosexual configuration of the woman is the abuser, where he doesn't feel physically threatened, but he's just been slowly emotionally beaten down, and he was already kind of passive to be, well, not kind of, he was fairly passive to begin with, and not hostile, more, of the two of them, he was the more calm one, right? And over time, just little bit by little bit, just turning up the temperature on the frog, that he would just slowly start to become smaller and more inert and avoidant and scared and powerless and just survive the day and fall out of love and just give up and not have any motivation to approach, maybe even flinching of just like, what's going to happen? I don't know, but it fits a profile that I've treated many, many times. And it's really hard for men in situations like this to recognize that they're being abused. And even if they did, what are they going to do? They don't know how to get out of it. That's why you need a specialist therapist that not only treats couples, but also treats domestic violence couples of this ilk. Because they're unlikely to end up in the justice system, which is where I would also treat perpetrators and victims, but perpetrators that were convicted. This is domestic violence or intimate partner violence focused treatment, and it's group therapy, and it's required, it's mandatory. If they don't go, they risk going to detention, to prison. And so as a way to avoid prison, they agree to do this year-long or longer intensive group and individual therapy process, the perpetrators. She's unlikely to enter that system because she doesn't tend to put hands on. So their pattern isn't likely to change unless they have very focused therapy. And I've done that work. It's hard. I mean, couple therapy is the hardest. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a while, but I discovered a long time ago, and it took me a while to really kind of register it. But and then talking with colleagues, I concluded that for all of us, couple therapy is by far the hardest. It has the most countertransference, by far. It has the most volatility in session. It has the most likelihood of a rupture with a client because of taking sides or just it's a lot easier to isolate one of the individuals in therapy and validate them, or at the very least, choose the moments where you confront. Whereas with couples in therapy, they'll turn to you and be like, are you going to do something? Or what do you think about this? And there's no way out of that without somewhat alienating one of the individuals, especially in the beginning of therapy. So it's not only that, but also we all have, all of us have relational traumas related to spouses, to romantic partners. And a lot of us have sexual traumas. At the very least, all of us have sexual shame from our stupid ass society. So there's all that coming up for everyone, including the therapist. And it's hard. With intimate partner violence, especially of this ilk, it's particularly hard because you have to, as a therapist, tell the client that she's abusive or some fitting euphemism like dominant or intimidating or unfairly intense or something like that. Bulldozing, I'll use that word sometimes. But often I try to actually introduce the word abuse because let's not dance around it. And the victim deserves to have that out there. Now, often when people hear me say this, they think I'm taking his side. I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm taking her side because it wouldn't be telling her or shaming her to say that she's abusive. Every abusive perpetrator, well, for the most part, 95% of the perpetrators that I have treated all have very empathetic reasons that I can empathize with. Their traumas, the way they interpret things, their sensitivities, it all makes sense to me. Very rarely do I come across a sadistic, psychopathic, and a partner violence perpetrator, partially because they don't enter treatment, very rarely anyway. but also because they're kind of rare. Of the intimate partner violence perpetrators that I've treated, the vast majority of them are coming from extreme abuse growing up. I assume that she has been through a lot growing up. So it's to be on her side to identify that and to begin the treatment thereof to help her recover so that she can get her needs met. There's a path forward between the two of them. But so what I'm witnessing is that they have gone down a road and so much repair. So I'm looking at this list and I don't know why I always have like these kind of hopes. I'm losing hope, y'all. Ari and Benny, yeah, I think I just need to prepare to watch an entire season. And I'm reminded of how long these seasons are. I mean, I don't know how many episodes this is, but each episode is like an hour and a half. So they don't leave much out, which I think is good. But I need to just sort of settle in to it's sort of like with Angela and Michael. I remember after not watching them, or Big Ed and Liz, or Big Ed and whoever, I would have to I would get my hopes up, and then I'd start watching, and then something would happen, and I'd have to say, oh, that's right. Wait, I'd get all sort of up in arms, and then I'd say, wait. This is the norm. We're just seeing everything that's been happening in the past. We're just seeing further down the road. So what did you think was going to happen? And so with Ari and Benny, for me, with all these couples, I'm seeing there's a time jump there, and they're all worse off, right? I mean, arguably, Natalie and Josh are not worse off, because I think the last time I saw them, they broke up and Natalie went back to Mike and Squim. I heard he sold that place, actually. Anyway, so I'm rambling, but yeah, Ari and Benny, I think so. I just need to say to myself, they're two good people who have gotten to a point where they have so much contempt for each other. I mean, so much. But because of their son, and just because of their belief in marriage, as they've already talked about, it would be weird to just impulsively divorce someone. So they're in that really, really dark place as a couple, where they're basically done, but they just can't admit it. There's a way out of it, but a lot of couple therapy and individual therapy is necessary. Brandon and Julia, they're kind of in a dark place too, but I think I have hope that this process might actually help them. Gino and Jasmine, I mean, the only hope I have is that they manage to, because they can connect. And I think when they connect, they both stop polarizing. He becomes more spontaneous and affectionate, and she calms down. So I could see that happening, but why would that happen? Without proper treatment, which I don't think this is going to entail. Not that these clinicians are bad clinicians, but the setup. It's a reality TV show. So, I think but I could imagine them being together in another 5 years and them reaching a homeostasis where she's cheating and he just is like on his computer all day. I don't know. Natalie and Josh, they don't really, they're extremely casual dating. So Rob and Sophie, they seem kind of done as well. Stacy and Florian, I guess I have hope that similar to this couple, that they will connect and go back to their regular homeostasis, where maybe Florian doesn't go out as much, because I think Florian genuinely has affection for Stacy, but it sounds like they've gone down a road kind of. But there's a possibility that Florian is all 10 toes out the door and is just fully cheating right now. I mean, and Stacy, the way that she treats really everybody, because I've wondered about Stacy being in connection with her feelings and her identity and even just her self-worth, based on the way that she was raised and kind of the dynamic between Stacy and Darcy, that Stacy just forges ahead and also just figures that she's going to get treated like shit. Not that Florian is treating her like shit. I don't know. There's all these questions. There's all these accusations. Everyone's accusing everyone. Rob has cheated. Stacy's accusing Florian of cheating. Natalie can't really claim that Josh is cheating because they don't have a commitment. They never have. Gino is now accusing Jasmine of kind of, cheating in spirit, meaning that she's sort of faux cheating by staying in her friends and saying, I'm not going to tell you where, I'm going to let you think maybe I'm. And then Brandon and Julia don't have any kind of accusations on that level. And then, of course, Ari is saying that Benny is cheating. Yeah. It's, I'm in it to win it. And because originally when I was starting to watch the show again, I was like, oh, this is kind of comforting, but it's like, I don't know, it's a mixed bag. I will say it's comforting in still the way that, sometimes with Love is Blind and other shows, Sister Wives included, there's a lot of scenes that are just kind of fluff to me. Sister Wives had a lot of it. They had entire seasons where there wasn't anything for me to react to. It was like, oh, they went to the store, they're talking about their business, or I don't know. And, that's why people watch the show, but I don't have anything to say. So I'm just kind of standing here going, okay. Love is Blind sometimes has that too, when they meet up with their parents or something. There's not anything notable. Not that I need to constantly have something to say, but there's not data. I'm like, well, what's going on? Like with Ben and Sarah a couple seasons ago or last season. And during the show, they just seemed like everything was fine. And then at the altar, Ben says no, or she says no, or whatever. And then we hear at the reunion, like what really was going down. And you're just like, how come that wasn't in the show? That would have been more interesting, and they can mask as much as they want to. But 90 Day Fiancé, there's no masking. The masks are off and it's all out there. And so that's nice, because it's just like, okay, we get to see it and we, get something to chew on. And I'm chewing. I don't like tasting it. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you sign up, please use the link below because that really helps us out. So October 10th is World Mental Health Day. And this year, BetterHelp wants us to recognize how therapists around the world are truly making the world a better place, if I don't say so myself. And, I don't know where I'd be without the therapists that I've been to over the years, from the therapist that I went to in graduate school who challenged me, had the courage to challenge me on things that I definitely needed to be challenged on, to the therapist I've had more recently who supported me through some very difficult times. Yeah, finding the right therapist can make all the difference in the world. And for over 12 years, BetterHelp has been fine-tuning their process of matching people with the right therapist. So this World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Kirk. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Kirk.
Now
Now
answer
you
my question.
stop
You're
see,
trying to
I'm
dodge
saying
my
I
question. So
was
answer. Where were you?
at a friend's house having fun. Deal with it.
What friend?
You're gonna get to know what friend.
What does that mean? Oh, you're going to get to know what. Oh, I'm going to take a guess and say that means that the friend is a woman and will call in or visit the thing. And that's what she means by that. But if you're, again, imagine if it was reversed. She would go ballistic. She would attack him, probably physically. I don't know. But not that that's always, what we do to see what's fair. Like, well, what if it was reversed? But what if it was reversed?
So you're saying you were the guy? So if that's the case, we shouldn't even be at therapy. We should just be done. You're saying you cheated on me?
Don't ask questions of things you don't want to know.
No. And?
I mean, what? So if you haven't cheated, you certainly are wanting him to believe it. So this, I don't think, one, she would cheat, and two, if she had cheated, I don't think she would say it I don't think it would be a different. This is more evidence to me anyway. Who knows? It's just speculation. Total speculation. I have merch that says total speculation. Sometimes I feel like there should be a little cutout of myself on the shirt or the mug that's just like, I don't know why this is but total speculation that she is trying to make him jealous. And this is her very screwed up way of trying to better their relationship by getting him to be more sexually possessive. So another thing, obviously, to talk about is the cultural and gender expectations that each of these individuals have. That I don't know what Panamanian expectations there are. I mean, I have some knowledge of Colombia, which is not, in Bogota. My friend Umberto, he'll talk about the gender expectations of that area, and of course, it's quite varied because it's a large country with millions of people, lots of different strata and different types, which he'll also talk about because he has his mom is from the coast, I think, and his dad is from the city. And so I could have that reversed. And they're very different cultural they even have different foods, like the coast, apparently they eat spicy food. And in Bogota, they would never, they're like Americans when it comes to spicy food. It's like, oh, Tabasco, that's hot, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot of different ideas of gender and stuff. Anyway, so that obviously is a part of it. This for both of them. I don't know is it a viable thing in Panama? I mean, obviously, in no culture would this be healthy, but would it make more sense for Jasmine in Panama with a Panamanian man to resort to this? Let me know.
Answer the question. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. You don't want to know. That means you cheated on me and you're with a guy.
Gosh. I hate you.
Good.
And you.
Yourself.
What?
I guess I've lived. I mean, Sister Wife certainly had its moments, but it pales in comparison to this. And Love Is Blind never has things like this. It's just been a long time. And now I'm remembering all the moments, like when Darcy, apparently tried to kill Jesse with that shoe. What was there was a brand of shoe that they said in the fight, like a Jimmy Choo. And I remember at the time going, what in the hell is a Jimmy Choo? Or it was some other brand, like Jesse, and and their fanciness. It's like, it's not just that you threw a shoe at me. It's you threw this brand name shoe at me or something. And the camera didn't really quite catch it, so we didn't know if Jesse was exaggerating. It seemed like he was. I mean, I think Darcy did throw the shoe. Anyway, I'm just reminded of all that. I'm reminded of the time when, the few times when Angela was being physically abusive with Michael, but all the yelling and the screaming and the bullying and the intimidation and the abuse, not only of Michael, but also of Liz. Remember that whole, anyway, it's all flooding back to me. Okay. It's sort of like when you first get in the water at the beginning of summer, it's not really quite warm yet. You just, oh my God, it's cold. And if you sit there long enough, eventually you go numb and you don't feel it anymore.
I prefer to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to highlight. She just said, I hate you. And I was gone for 3 nights, and I'm not going to tell you anything about where I was. I was at someone's house. I'm not going to tell you if it was a woman or a man. I'm not going to tell you if I cheated or not. I hate you. Fuck you. What are you supposed to do with that? This is the first night.
Those things, I was upset and frustrated because you were leaving the house and not telling me where you were going.
We were arguing.
I asked for your location. You didn't send me your location. By the second day, you told me you were with your friend.
And that is a friend that we have in common. And I told you, I am with Brandy. And that night, I was very mad, but I'm sorry that I made you worried.
Okay, so now we're hearing a completely different thing, which is a lot more functional and healthy, I guess. Now she's saying, I did tell you where I was. I was with our mutual friend Brandy. Or did she just inform him for the first time? I don't know. is this shenanigans? The previous night he was asking where, and she's like, I'm not going to tell you. And now she's saying it easily, or she's saying she already told. I don't know what's happening. All right. Well, I want to remind everyone that we have an audio podcast. I know a lot of you know that, but maybe some of you don't. And that's kind of the main thing that I do is the audio podcast. That's what I put perhaps most of my effort into, the deep dives. I've been doing the podcast for, well, at this point, more than 17 years. So, it's a big deal to me. So if, you can go on your podcast app and subscribe. Maybe you don't listen to every episode, but yeah, only if I don't know. Do people not know? Sometimes I think I have to say it. Maybe I don't. Take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.